Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Masks and Muses, our dragon game here on this garden. And I am reunited with all of my players who we will see what Mr. Fish is up to uh, in the past months. But in the I was like, I feel like I know what that gesture is, but let's make sure.
Just trying to
We want to hear you, so yeah.
Very much appreciated. Very much appreciated. But before we get into things, I will have all of my lovely players introduce themselves in a clockwise fashion, starting with Diver.
I'm Diver, aka Aiden Kincaid, infamous scholar, rebel, orator, a critic of all sorts of taverns throughout Val Royeaux, and organizer of the labor movement as well as the equality movement among students, the International Students Program, and also the Free Mages Club, in the University of Orlais. So
yes. Of which there are so many,
right,
so many members.
Exactly. And it's been some months, and I don't know if this is the right time or place to discuss what he's been doing because I could go on.
Yes. But we will get to that. I promise.
So there we go. That's my introduction. I'm gonna pass it along now.
Oh gosh, I guess that goes to me clockwise. Okay. Hello, I am Tiara, or I just go by T, and I will be playing the lovely Ade Montbelliard of House Montbelliard. And I would say Ade is definitely an extremely stressed out apostate who lives very close to the tower. Might as well hide in plain sight, am I right? So we'll definitely have fun seeing how the events of last season gave her more neurotic tendencies this season.
Hi, my name is Vivi. Can you guys hear me good?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, my name is Vivi. I play Eosia. Fun warning, the accent will be all over the place. We're coming back. I will be the avatar of all accents. We will get through at least 4 today. But Eosia is a up and coming force mage within the White Spire. She has a vehement hatred for her position in life at the moment, and has been part of, I guess, the Libertarian Party within the White Tower, or the White Spire, to gain mages' rights, and no longer have to be the Chantry's tool in the shed. Also, she has a Templar boyfriend, to which she sometimes still has kind of moral qualms about when she thinks about it late at night. But he's really handsome and also quite nice. And my main mission this season is to gaslight girl boss and gatekeep the fuck out of him into running away and marrying me. So we're gonna get that man out of the Chantry. The last thing I do, all right? We will convert him to this.
We love a woman with ambition. We gotta love that.
Hi, I'm Tom. I play Buccio Viari. He occasionally likes to steal stuff and wander off on his own. That's all I got.
Love it. Okay.
What about lovable mediator between?
That's true. That's true. He has been a mediator.
What about Papa? What about Wise Man? What about moral support of the group?
Remember when we were also surprised that Buccio was younger?
Yes. Yeah. He's pretty much still a kid compared to everybody else. So.
But the most mature.
Yeah, that was the odd part. Is he's the dad of the group?
That really is the odd part.
while being the youngest. So,
it falls to the person who's keeping it together the best.
Yeah, going into things, I thought Ade would have been the adult in the room, but she's way too petty to let that happen. So
this is true. Yes, that's it. This is true.
Oh, well, that being said, let's get into things and see what people have been up to the past couple months and sort of what they're up to now. So since I know he's raring to go, we'll start with Aiden, see what he's been up to and what he's got going on right now.
For a moment there, I thought you were gonna. I thought you were gonna go to Bukio. So, no, Aiden. Welcome, new fans, and welcome back, returning fans. Anybody who has stayed with us through season 1 may be familiar with the fact that Aiden Kincaid always has plans. This man keeps busy constantly, and when it comes to ambitions, he's got a few of those too. And so he's been keeping in touch and communication with at least 2 of his teammates, and Aosia and Ade. And so they've written letters back and forth. I can share those with you at some point if you would like. But basically, yes, they have been writing. They've been in communication. While he's been doing that, Aiden has also, how shall we put this, facilitated the production of a play that has been touring the streets of Val Royeaux. He's informed Aosia of this, and it is called, let me see here, Fuchsia Frond Fantasy. Yes, and it is a work that has been inspired by Pink Petal Paradise, a creative work of Aosia's crafting, and so he has taken that to the next level with the theater and everything like that. And let me just say, there have been screeds of criticism and calls for moving it to the off Summer Bazaar theaters or wherever they take place. But he has fought every one of those criticisms, sometimes literally, sometimes figuratively, or through other means. His legionnaires, his crowd of followers, and so basically he has facilitated that to rave reviews and fiery criticisms and packed theaters. No matter where it plays, the theaters are packed and sometimes left in disarray afterwards. Then on top of that, he has also facilitated a union or an organization, as we shall call it, of food safety, restaurant safety, because he has noticed that there has been an infestation of various vermin and also, just unsanitary conditions at certain taverns and establishments in Val Royeaux. This goes back to season 1 when he had a bit of a conflict with a certain tavern owner, and that tavern owner has since been charged with, serving in unsanitary conditions and everything like that. Ade might be familiar with this tavern keeper, and so when she returns, she might notice that. And then those are just 2 side projects of his. He has actually been conducting the secret society of scholarship that he has formed within the back halls and cellars and unknown condemned is the part I'm looking for. The condemned storage rooms and things like that of Orlais University, with his secret cult of acolytes, his devoted students, who he leads into the forsaken tomes of knowledge that are locked away from all the regular people, by the regular people, and they have become quite adept at pilfering those texts and those tomes, and he has learned quite a bit with their assistance. And in addition to that, I know lots of pokers in the fire. He has been.
He's a busy man.
He's a busy man. It really. He's got his fingers in a lot of pots or something. I don't know. But basically, he has definitely also engaged a new trajectory, a new goal here in order to, he's got this idea of freeing and also facilitating Aosia and Wet Blanket, her ambitions with him, as well as her ambitions to get free of the prison that she has been locked in all of her life. So he is hard at work at that on the outside, like laying siege, as it were, in his own special way to the security, sanctity, fortifications of the tower, ascertaining in whatever ways he might the phylacteries, to be able to facilitate this jailbreak, as it were, at some near future date. Yeah. So there we go. That is the sum of his activities, in addition to other things which I won't go into, but you'll find out as the season progresses. In brief. Thank you for listening.
Yes. Yes. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
And during one of your many get-togethers in
the clandestine get-togethers.
Yeah.
I assume
Yes,
you
one of
were
the many.
referring-
Yes, one of the
Yeah,
many
yeah.
clandestine get-togethers of your acolytes at the university in one of these storerooms that you have,
The dank
repurposed.
underhalls. Yeah. The bowels of the university.
Yes, your most devoted follower, and
Valeria.
yes, Valeria, who has the most thinly veiled love for you imaginable. She wears that on her sleeve. But she approaches you and says, Aiden,
Yes.
can I please speak with you in private for a moment?
Of course. And he will gesture in the way that he does, with an air of authority, to the rest of the collected followers. A moment. Yes. With Valeria here, who is first among you.
And so so as the two of you step aside, she says, I don't know what to do about this situation, but my parents are coming.
Aiden's
They're coming to take me away from the
wearing a look of
university.
horror on his face. Oh, family.
They're coming to take me away from the university. They've heard of what has happened a few months ago, how badly I was injured during the riot that happened at the university, and they are concerned for my safety, and they are coming to take me back home to Antiva.
He takes her face and she's like, look at me. I won't let this happen. We will find a way to... Something might happen to them on the way here. They might get detoured or perhaps take the long way here. They might be delayed in some fashion, distracted even. And I will enlist my best people to make sure that this happens, to ensure your safety, your freedom from your family. Trust me when I say I know all about family struggles and things like that. Mine and me and mine, we don't exactly, see eye to eye. Don't get me wrong; they appreciate my work here as long as I stay here. So I've solved the problem of them coming to get me. So I feel like I can do the same for you, and I'm here for you. I am here to make sure that you can continue your good work for me and for you here. We can't have your parents interrupting your important studies and scholarship.
I mean, I don't want to leave, but I don't know what you're going to be able to do about this.
Oh, I am a person of many talents and capabilities. This is going to be easy. We'll take care of it. Don't worry. We'll just have you. In fact, right now, as we speak, after this meeting, I'm going to have one of our best people acquire one of the transfer forms to a university back in Antiva, and of course they will receive that if they make it to the city, and we'll know that you are already on your way there, and that they must go and find you there.
But what happens when they inevitably leave, go back to Antiva and go to that university and realize I am not there?
Well, just because you're not present doesn't mean you're not there, right? I have contacts at all the universities, so I know a person, just one or two people there in positions of respectable authority. I'm sure that they could just say that you are in the field, conducting research, perhaps in Ravane, or maybe even into Vinter. You know, these scholars go everywhere, and if necessary, we could even send you to the wastes, you know, or somewhere else, you know, the Kokori wilds, you know, to say the witches that supposedly live there. Scholars travel, and you know what? Have you ever seen a shell game, Valeria? I'm sure in Antiva you must have.
Explain it to me anyway.
You're my precious little marble, okay? And so we're going to do is we're going to take you, and in the shell game, what you do is you put the marble under one shell, and there's 3 of them, and you move the shells around, and then you pick them up.
Oh,
and
yes,
exactly. So that's, you're going to be my precious little pearl underneath the shells, and we are going to move you around. Your parents will just take months and months and months and possibly years to find you, and all the while, you will be here under my protective guidance. See, I told you, I'm going to take care of you. Believe in me. Do not ever let your faith waver. I will always see us through.
Okay, you sound certain.
Always. It's not even the most challenging thing I'm working on at the moment. In fact, it's no effort at all for me to do this for you. You have been a loyal and devoted student of mine, and this is the least I can do in return.
As I also, just to see how well this actually goes across, can you make me a communications roll, please?
Absolutely. You know what? Let me see here. If I may have forgotten my dice. No, I have them. Okay. All right. So remind me once again, because it's been a hot minute, how I would roll this.
It has indeed been a hot minute.
Yeah.
And I need to double check that exactly as well.
We know how to play this game. I assure you.
Yes, we're experts.
Yeah.
I promise you. You'll never find better people to run this game than us.
Right. Everything is in hand.
Okay, yep, that's what I thought. It's 3d6 plus ability plus focus, if applicable.
3d6 plus ability plus focus. So he has, if this is a communication, he has persuasion and etiquette as a focus. So okay. I feel like persuasion at least.
I feel like persuasion would certainly be applicable here.
Yeah. So okay, so that's going to be 3. So let me just go ahead and real quick here. Thank you for bearing with me. All right. Plus 3. And when I roll this, okay, that's 15.
Okay, that's not bad at all.
That feels like a good roll. Yeah. That feels like a
pretty good one.
And it's Aiden, so you know he's good at this. This is his forte.
Yeah, so you can tell that there is still a slight bit of confliction in her, but you can tell that she has that sense of, well, he's never really steered me wrong before, so yeah, so she inevitably sort of is like, okay, I believe in you.
We will be just fine, Valeria. Your faith in me is well placed, as always.
All right.
Is there anything else I can help you with at this time, or shall I let you go back to the very important work you are currently investigating right now for me?
No, that was the big thing that was concerning me. I think I can go back to my research now that you wanted me to look into.
Absolutely. Yeah. Rest easy. I'll take care of everything.
All right. My cat is digging her claws into my leg. Thank you. Sounds good. And she wanders off and leaves you back to your little clandestine meeting.
Yes, indeed.
So for now, with that, we will transition over to Buccio. Buccio, what have you been up to the past few months, and how are things looking for you now?
He left town, decided he wanted to just kind of get away for a little bit. He kind of went and grew his hair long, grew a mustache, did some side jobs for some folks, we'll say, that earned him some coin. So he was able to upgrade his wardrobe. He no longer has his good clothes and his normal clothes. He actually has several suits and some overcoats and things like that now. Actually, I would like to show a picture of him, if I might.
Yes, by all means, if you so wish.
Let's see. Yeah. Buccio action pose. Yeah.
He's like, come at me, bro.
Exactly. So he's had a couple adventures on the road. That's probably why he didn't receive any of his letters, because they really had no forwarding address, and has returned to town. Kind of maybe not. It was an amazing transformation over the last couple of months. He's maybe not quite as naive as he was, but is starting to kind of know his role, I guess, in the group, as the dad, as the voice of reason. But he's really also gained a liking of combat and just stabbing people, maybe who just sometimes need to be hurt. So he's kind of the, not the stepfather, but the father who stepped up. Exactly.
Well, sounds like it's been an intense few months for him.
Yeah. So he's come back. Probably just shows up on Ade's doorstep one day. It's just
all right,
kind of like, hey.
And yeah, all right, and you show up at Ade's place. Do you go to the main entrance or do you go to the servants' entrance?
No, he goes to the main entrance now.
Okay.
I mean, granted, his height is obviously not changed, but his appearance has changed, and he has more of a, almost kind of a swagger to him now. That, like, yeah, I belong.
Okay.
So front door it is.
All right. So you show up to Ade's place of residence, and you knock on the door, and someone opens up the door, and you see that it is Manon, Ade's cousin. Answers the door, and She looks at you and says, I'm sorry, can I help you?
And he will kind of sweep his hat in kind of a flourish and say, yes, I am here to see Ade.
Oh, she hasn't returned from her trip yet.
Ah. That's a pity. Do you know when you expect her?
Hypothetically, any day now. I think. I guess I don't know.
Well, I will return then. I will. Yes, I will return at some point, and I thank you for your time, milady.
Yes. Of course. I will when she arrives. I will let you know that you stopped by. I'm sorry. Who are you?
My name is Buccio Viari.
Oh, you look so different.
Yes, I do.
You look good.
Well, thank you. Yes. I took a little time for myself to grow a little bit. Well, that's a joke we short people make. I didn't really grow up. I grew out.
Well, it suits you, I think.
Well, thank you.
But I will, when she does arrive, I will be sure to let her know that you stopped by.
Very well. Okay. And he'll nod again and wait for her to close the door.
All right, sounds good.
He turns around and goes, shit. He's like, he just kind of grumbles to himself. He's like, guess I'll wait at the tavern. So.
Oh, all right. So you head off to the nearest tavern.
Yeah. And yeah, still homeless. Exactly. Not much changes in that regard.
Yeah, still on the great couch surf.
Exactly. And he'll head to the nearest tavern. Are there any obvious signs of Aiden's organization that I would recognize around? Any symbols that they wear? Do they wear certain cloaks, or he's just kind of keeping an eye out for Aiden?
Well, I think to answer that question,
Make me a perception check.
Okay, perception check. All right. Let's see. That is 11, 15. And then let me check my character sheet if I still need to. Let me know. I've already got a 15, so let's see.
Well, extra numbers never hurt.
And where the hell is my character sheet? I opened it earlier. Sorry about that. Let's open it again. Let's see. Perception, he adds. Well, it's empathy +2, but I don't think this would be empathy, so it's just going to stay with the 15 then.
All right, 15. So as you're walking, you sort of like look around, and you don't see any obvious signs of Aiden's organization. But you do see a couple flyers sort of like hidden here and there for a particular play with a somewhat similar sounding name to someone's erotica that they published in the newspaper.
we're always hiring. Yeah.
The pink petal or whatever.
Yes.
He's
The
trying to
pink
remember
petal paradise. Yeah.
Pink petal paradise. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah.
That is not what the play is called, but the play is called something.
It was produced by the Pink Petal.
It's called something extra. It's called something copyright friendly.
Yeah.
But
think it'd be a great name. Just copyright friendly.
Fuchsia Frond Fantasy is what.
Thank
they'll
you,
play itself.
thank
Yeah.
you. Fuchsia Frond Fantasy.
Yeah, and he didn't want it. He didn't want it to look like he was just putting her work out there without her permission. So instead, he kind of
He
made some
just
changes.
renamed
Made some changes, to make sure that
Instead, he just stole it wholesale.
All right.
Now
So,
we don't frame it like that. All right, so
He would-
but-
he would recognize Aiden's name all over that. Then.
Yes, exactly.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, you would definitely recognize Aiden's influence on that, even if his name was not on the flyer.
Okay.
I would just be interested in Bukio's thoughts, upon that recognition, upon realizing, of that whole production is got Aiden's paw prints all over it.
He'll look at it for now, and it's like, I think I'm just gonna go to the tavern for a little bit. I think I might need a drink before talking to Aiden again.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not ready to deal with that.
I'm not quite ready to deal
yet.
with him yet. So so he'll just we'll just go to the tavern.
All right, go hang out at the tavern.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So then, for the time being, we will transition over to Eosia. What have you been up to the past few months, and what are you up to now?
Sorry, I was just thirsting over the photo that T sent in the chat.
Fair enough.
And I think that's quite in line with what Aosia has been doing. So, I mean, honestly, everyone else got to go to summer break. Everyone else got to go on vacation, sail the seas, find some hot kunari, thing, whatever it is, produce a play, get new fashion. Guess what? I've been at home. Not at home. I've been in the Spire, the fucking Spire. They have not relinquished their hold of me after the whole kerfuffle. That was the riot. The first enchanter especially was kind of miffed with me. But he's like a tight wad of fucking stick up your ass. So his opinion doesn't really matter on anything. Eosia has honestly been seething, but also having really great sex. And so she has honestly just been she's like, I have nothing else to do but fuck my boyfriend right now. And so
Fair enough.
She and Wet Blanket have been trying some things, right? Legit, she accosts this man, right? They're playing a dangerous game right now, all right? She's going at it. Mostly because she has nothing else to do except study, make people's lives living hell within the tower, and seduce the fuck out this man, all right? She has decided that coups is one of the ways she's gonna manipulate him, all right? The power of coochie and willpower shall not be underestimated. But also he has been helping take her on romantic dates. That's right, Kinkle, further it up. He exists within all realms. He's around us. But basically she has also been having a cute little romance arc. He has been trying to be very romantic. He's let's go to this garden, under the cover of night. She's I'm gonna do something to you under the cover of night, whatever the fuck. But honestly, she's been having the time of her life because for the first time that she has someone that she can honestly, since she's been taken to the Spire, be very close with and surrounded by all the time. And a lot of the times they'll have those kind of late night deep talks where she's kind of okay, but why are you part of the Chantry? And so they'll have kind of little discussions. She hasn't quite broached the subject of how deep her hatred for the Chantry goes, mostly because it makes her a little bit uncomfortable and she's scared that he's gonna like the Chantry more than her. And so she's been towing this fine line of having fun and being in love, and he's a Templar and I'm a mage, and it's not as fun and easy as it is in my erotica. And so she has been writing a lot of erotica. The tower is dealing with an influx of porn right now. And so some of the mages...
Mages gotta get up to something.
Mages gotta get up to something, right? So some of the mages have maybe Cyril and some of the other mages are kind of it's crazy that the main character, Beosia, is, kind of, having all this, great romance with, this Templar, hot, buff, mustached, curly haired, really cute, kind of like, furry chested, honestly sweet. And they're like, I wonder who's the inspiration for this, and wet blanket sweating. And so she's writing fan fiction about her sex life. And also
Love
she's
that
like,
for her.
when she doesn't like someone in the tower, so the first enchanter especially, right, when he gets on her nerves, she writes him into fan fiction, and has him like, I don't know, have like a Templar gangbang or do all this other shit, or like, has him go through some really deep kinks, and she does not censor his name. She makes sure that he knows he is the inspiration for that. Her title for it, she's still low-key like the undercover dealer of erotica, so she hasn't been caught yet. But the first enchanter's low-key out for blood, after she did write Mpreg fanfic about him. And so things are getting a little heated in certain circles. She's upgraded her itching powder game. She's now including cayenne pepper, paprika, and other irritants and burning chemicals within itching powder for particularly egregious things. Someone got fed rat poison. That actually wasn't her, but people are blaming her for it, so whatever. Might as well take the rep. And she has slowly but surely also been trying to figure out how she can get back into the phylactery and potentially, like, maybe get the fuck out of here. All the while, she's sending messages. Aiden is her most consistent, pen pal. She'll send something, Aiden responds within 30 minutes. It's fucking crazy. Like, the pigeon is kind of going through a lot of stress, so she sometimes has to time her responses because it's a very stressed out messenger bird right now. But she's been really enjoying seeing some parts of, the outside world through his tinted lens or his embellishing lens. Even if she's like a little bit envious. And she was kind of sad that she didn't get a lot of responses from her other friends, but she's like, they're going to live their own lives. But again, she's stuck in the tower, not allowed to go. So she's like just a little envious. And she's also been messaging Marjolaine and been like, yo, did you look into that thing I sent you the info about? And Marjolaine's like, yeah, got an update for you upcoming. So, yeah, a lot of sex, a lot of sadness, and a lot of serious stuff coming up next time on Dragon Balls Now. Yeah, and that's been Eosia's life. I'm not doing the accent right now because I'm too timid. I'll do it when I start speaking as her. We'll get there, all right?
Okay. So, what is she up to at this present moment?
At this present moment, she's pegging... No, I'm joking. At this present moment, she's actually kind of like... I think she's probably just chilling in her room. Like, imagine just like she has her singular room. She kind of has like one of those like the curtains you can put over your bed, like the veiled ones. So she has one of those, like the gauzy thin ones. She has all like these like papers on force magic and like spirit magic laid out before her. Like she's been studying, and she's just like splayed out in a very, very nice nightgown on her bed, just kind of like, ugh. She's like, I'm so bored and I've read all of texts I can access myself. And the first enchanter's being a dick and he won't let me access the higher level in the library because he's discriminatory. And also because I put itching powder in his underwear. And so he's blaming me for the book damages that happened. And so now I'm on probation. And next to her is Cyril, who is just listening to all of like her ranting right now. And she's just like, and it's so crazy because like, now Wet Blanket has like a shift change. And so like, I get to see him less. And like, he's at the door and like, I like him and I like being risky and all, but like, I'm not going to fuck him at the door, Like that's just a little
sound risky.
I know. And like,
risque even.
Risque. And, I would gladly, like, bend him over or he bend me over, like, I don't know, in, like, a very secluded stairwell or, like, in the library where we almost got caught. And, like, now everyone's like, oh, there's, like, a ghost that haunts the library, like, a haunted spirit. And it's just, he makes lovely noises. But, like, I haven't seen him in like 3 days, and like he hasn't even sent me like a cute note being like, I love your hair, or like the dimple when you smile, like weird shit like that.
Does he often send notes?
All the time, yeah. I mean, I find some of them under my pillow, which is like the fact that he can get into my room, slightly worrying. But you know, it's like cute because he says like romantic stuff. Like it's not like he's like, oh, like I'm after your body, Eosia. Like, this is just a quick fuck. He's like, oh, like you're so precious and you're amazing and you're great and I'm part of the system that makes you less than a second-class citizen. You know, just small shit like that. And so yeah, I mean, he hasn't given me a note in 3 days, and so like I'm worried. Like, what if he's off fucking some other like mage that's less hot than me? Because then I'd be offended. Because like, if you're gonna do better than me, do better than me.
Has he given you cause to think this previously?
No, but like I've never had like.
Then it seems an irrational thought.
I mean, you just never know. Like men are dogs. And like I don't know. Like maybe he's just like, this is convenient, or like like this has been fun, or this has just been like like I don't know, like. It's just the power dynamic's a little weird. Like, yeah, I have like a lot of control over him, like physically and emotionally, but like systemically and socially, he has a lot of power over me.
To my knowledge, Templars should not be engaging in any of the activities you have relayed to me in gratuitous detail.
I know, Cyril. That's why I have you edit my writing, because like you keep me honest and good, as like an amazing asexual friend does. And like you're able, and like sometimes when I write a little too much marathon sex that actually didn't happen, but I think it's fun to imagine, and you're kind of like, I can't imagine the switch between these positions. It keeps me honest, So I don't know, like I want to go on a date again, but then like we almost got caught sneaking out the last time we went to the gardens, and then the first enchanter confiscated my package, and so now I had to explain why I have double XL size lingerie. And I've got stuff, but I don't have that much stuff. So that one was a little hard to get out of. I just said I made an error when I ordered it, but I don't know.
Could you not just try and find him?
His schedule's all different now. Like, it's no longer as convenient. And, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like people are watching me more often now. And, like, it might have had something to do with the fact that I did slip laxatives in the lunch again. I didn't mean for it to get to everybody's lunch. It was targeted, and someone switched the bottles. And it was supposed to only go in the higher up food.
You need to account for things like this.
I know, it was such a such a mess up that I don't usually do, right? And so now everyone's blaming me because everyone loves to blame Eosia for things that aren't even my fault. Like, yes, did I prepare laxatives to go into specific lunches? Yes. Did I plan to make everyone have the shits for 24 hours? No. And also, why is there not a spell to help with that?
In the defense of the suspicious persons, when one does something to draw attention to themselves, attention is usually drawn.
But I didn't want attention. I wanted vengeance. I wanted justice. I wanted life to be hell for the first Templar. And I mean for the first fucking enchanter. And now the Templars watch
Sometimes
their
one
food
must
too much.
pay a price in order to get what they want.
And you know what? Blanket was a little mad at me too, because he was like, well, why did I get the laxative? And I was like, well, it would be suspicious if I didn't also put it in all the Templars' food. And like, I can't spare you just because I like you. Like, like we have to keep up appearances. But I said sorry, and I fucked him really good. But I don't know. He's so delicate of heart. I don't know. What about you, Cyril? Is anything crazy going on in your life?
Enchantment.
Ugh, tell me about it. And then it just like goes on like that. So she's literally like just chilling in her room, like venting to her homie because like she literally
to
has
her
nothing
tranquil
else to
homie.
do. And honestly, like this is them like for hours, man.
All right.
And that's it.
Sounds
She hasn't done
good.
much.
All right, fair enough. Well, with that, we will now transition to Ade. What has she been up to, and what's she doing now?
So Ade has been on a little trip out of Valroyo. Okay. She was on a ship for a while, sailing around, and she accidentally, quotation marks there, accidentally ended up in Ravane. So she's been out by the coast in Ravane, kind of trying to keep out of trouble in terms of a place where it could, get back to her family. Because shit kind of went real south at the end of last season. So she thought it would be a good idea for her to just disappear for a bit till tensions kind of abated. And so she kind of used that consequence of needing to leave the city as a gateway to a new experience. She's never left Valroyo. So she's been doing a lot of research. She's made some interesting connections, I will say that. And she's like kind of technically, sort of kind of married, but like not, but like kind of. So yeah, that's what's up with Ade.
And we weren't at the wedding.
Ade was cursed. So, and I'm being serious. Ade was cursed. And so things just kind of sort of happened.
There's a whole lot of technicalities around this marriage.
There was a lot of technicalities, and the two people who got married were not aware of what was happening at any point until it was kind of too late. And they found that they can't get too far away from each other without complications. So that's fun. And if I remember correctly, currently what Ade is doing is she's been speaking to a Ravani seer that she met in hopes of like trying to figure out how they can get unstuck from each other. But in the middle of looking for something to help with this current problem, I believe she received a letter.
She did indeed. She had received a letter from her uncle, the Duke, that Ade's grandmother, who had already been on the somewhat sickly side, had suddenly taken a turn for the worse. And if she did not return as quickly as possible, there was a strong chance that she was not going to be able to say goodbye.
Yes. So, this might account for the fact that Ade had sent one letter. She had reached out to Aiden. And she had two other letters that she had sent out to both Buccio and to Aosia. However, I think she arrives before those letters because she had to double time it back. So I think she's probably coming present time, like right now. I think she's probably arriving in port, probably.
Yes, I would concur with that. I would say you're just about to reach port when a large Kunari man with various piercings and a few horn decorations and sort of like wavy hair that it goes down to just barely touching his shoulders. Walks out on deck and stands next to you and says, "So, princess, this is your home?"
For better or worse? Yes. Also, don't call me that. Especially not here.
And why is that?
The why isn't important, just don't do it. And she just kind of, Ade like turns. Ade just does like a little update. Ade is not wearing a mask. She is free-faced. Hair kind of, her hair she's let it grow out over the past couple of months. So she's kind of got it up in like a small little like loose kind of bun. She looks real good, you know. That sunshine did her wonders. But she kind of puts a hand on her hip and swivels to look up at her companion as she's saying, "Don't call me princess." And she's just like, "Can you just behave, okay? Like, just for a few hours. Think you can manage it?"
That depends on the other people here. I am sure I am going to draw attention, for better or for worse. I'm sure many of your Orlesian nobles have never seen a man of such fine physique before.
She's going to just groan at that and roll her eyes, and she's going to just start stepping off like the boat, like go down the gangway or whatever it's called.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what it's called. She walks down the thing that's from the boat to the ground.
And he follows shortly thereafter.
Oh boy. Yeah, it's been a while. I think she kind of stops. It's gonna like look around, and I think first things first is she's hit with the smell of being in a city. So It's very different from having like pretty clean air out by the ocean.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit of some whiplash for sure, from what you've been accustomed to the past couple months.
Oh yeah. So she inhales and then she coughs. And she's like, "Yeah, yes. Home sweet home. Smells just like it." And she's gonna start kind of like I imagine that she probably hired just like a couple people to help with like bringing some stuff back, like some things that she's brought back with her from Ravane. So just like kind of leading them back towards the Mont Beliard, the state, essentially.
Yes. And as you're walking through the streets, you certainly get eyes, for sure, as most Orlesians are not accustomed, especially those living in Valroyo, are not accustomed to a Kunari just walking through the streets. That is anathema to them. So Izan,
I think they like you. I think it's going well. Yeah.
So Izan is certainly getting some eyes.
Yeah, I think Adi just kind of goes, "Well, it's going well so far. They're too stunned to approach. I think that works in our favor."
Yes, no one is stupid enough to come up and attack me.
She'll just kind of pat his arm and go, "Oh, don't worry. I'll make sure nothing bad happens."
Oh, you think something bad would happen?
Well, given your personality, yes.
Yes, I am thinking that if someone were to cause trouble, I could end them with just this.
just always have to get the last word in, don't you? It's just you just can't let anyone else have the last word. It's just gonna keep walking.
And he'll like pause for a moment and then he'll say, "It's part of my charm," and then he'll follow you.
Disgusting and despicable. I love their interactions. Yeah, I think the closer that they get to the estate, I think some of it, and have them having kind of been annoying the hell out of each other the past few months, and then forced to be around each other a good chunk of it because of what's going on, the situation. I think that it is pretty clear that she's speaking less in like her normal humor, maybe, that he's used to now, and it's like clear that it's like more nervous conversation, and the closer they get to the estate, I think the less she's speaking.
Okay.
Until they arrive at the front, and I think she's just kind of silent as they walk up to it. Are there guards out front that she can just...
I'd say there would be like 2 people stationed outside the main doors.
Okay.
To which they, seeing Izan, they almost instinctually sort of like start drawing their blades.
She'll put a hand up and say, "No, he's with me." And she's just like, I've been called back to assist the Duke. And she'll just say she'll pull out her mask and she'll say, "My hair is a little bit longer, but come on, you've known me now for quite a few years."
And it takes them a moment, and but one of them is just like, I'm so sorry. We were just not expecting you to have such company."
Intriguing company? She just inserts it. She's trying to keep it so polite. She's like, "Intriguing company?"
Yes. Please. And they'll sort of like step aside and just push and like pull the doors open, so you can enter.
All right. I think Ade's gonna kind of like lead the small group in, which I'm assuming is just like her, and then like maybe like 2 people of the ship group that kind of came with them or whatever to help with bringing the stuff. And I think that once they get in, she just kind of like steps off to like talk to one of the servants that she sees running around that she knows, and asks them to kind of like get did you pronounce it Izan?
Izan, yes.
Izan. Izan situated like with the room, and to get like refreshments for the guests, and that she needs to speak with Duke Montbelliard quickly.
Yes.
And yeah.
Yeah, and sort of like as you're relaying all this information, and as the servant is about to go assist Izan and take him towards one of the spare bed chambers, you hear a young voice shout out, "Ade!" And before you know it, your cousin Manon has it just like run fully into you and just like wrapped you up in a massive hug.
Oh boy. Ade. God, first of all, I think Manon just like knocks the air out of her stomach. But she just kind of hugs Manon back and then kind of kneels down and gives her a bigger squeeze and just says, "Oh, it's so good to see you," and just kind of grab her face and, "Let me look at you for a moment. Did you grow taller?"
I might have. I don't know. You haven't been gone that long. but it
Oh,
has felt
people
like
your
it.
age grow so fast. I feel like you've gained another inch since I've been gone.
I mean, it's possible.
Well, she will kind of like smooth Manon's hair a little bit, tuck it behind her ear, and say, I was just about to go and see your father. Do you mind taking me to the Duke?
Oh, of course, of course, of course. Come on, I believe he's in his office right now. And she starts walking off, and she like looks back at it towards Izan as he's walking away with the servant, and she just like sort of like whispers, and she's just like, "Who is that? He's so big."
Ade is gonna. Oh.
Did you get stairs? You had to have gotten stairs.
My husband, kind of. Anyway, and they arrive at the door. No.
And and as soon as you like get to the office, Manon knocks on the door and says, "Papa, it's me." And he's like, "Come in, Manon." And she opens the door and sort of like she gestures for you to come in. And like as soon as you enter, she closes behind her and she's like, "Papa, you'll never guess what."
She's gonna put a hand over Manon's mouth.
And then like as she goes to talk, you just hear
Manon, I think there are more pressing matters to talk about first before we talk about that news.
Okay, you're probably right, yeah. And she immediately gets like a more somber tone. The Duke sees you enter, and he had seemingly sort of reflexively put on his mask, but now he takes it off and says, "Adeli, welcome home."
Now that the door to like his study is closed and it's just the three of them in there,
Mhm.
I feel like she just kind of went into like very like business mode, like, hey, do this, we've got guests, please make sure they're received, blah blah blah, just kind of like acting as calm as possible. And I can't help but think that, you know, Duke Montbeliard takes his mask off and he probably just looks exhausted.
Oh, he does.
You know, his like his mother, like that's his mother.
Mhm.
Obviously his obviously his father is probably not doing well, so he's trying to like hold up all of this. And then also it's not like his sister's really able to assist with any of this
Mhm.
at all. He's really kind of holding up the family by himself.
Yeah,
And
and you've known your uncle to just be like an outwardly very strong man. Like he just does not. He makes sure that nobody sees like the weight of things that he's holding up, but you can tell that seemingly like these past few months since you've been gone, it's been extra. You can just see it on his face that it's been extra rough.
Mm-hmm. I think she sees that. Like, I think you're right. She knows him to be like a very strong person. You know, yes, did he used to be more fun when she was younger? Sure. And then he had to take on responsibility, became a little bit more serious. But she also kind of like respected that, you know, that he took on all of that responsibility. And so seeing him kind of look like haggard, I suppose, in a way is a shock to her system, enough so that I think that she just kind of tears up when he says her name and they make eye contact. And I think this like a small beat, and then she just kind of runs over to him and she hugs him. She hasn't seen her uncle in a few months. It's the only time she's ever been away from this place that is her home. Yes, it's kind of like a little bit of a bird cage, but still, it's the only home she's ever had.
Yeah. And you sort of like get a sense, like when you go up and hug him, he's almost like limp for a moment, like he just was not expecting this gesture. Before he like slowly just like gives you a warming hug back.
I think she's just like, Uncle, I'm so sorry. You could have called me back sooner. I should have been here to help. Anything. And I don't know what I could have done, but you've been dealing with this all by yourself. And how's she doing? And I think she like pauses before she kind of looks up at him, because I think she's afraid that he's going to say that she did not make it back in time.
Yeah. And he sort of like steps back from your embrace and almost uses like his desk to like sturdy himself, and says, I don't think she has that much longer at all. Quite frankly, the healers said they were surprised that she's lasted this long, so I suppose she just must be holding on for something. And you see, like, as he's like talking, he like forces himself to like look away from you as he's talking, and says, so if you would like to see her, I suggest you do it now.
I think that this is very hard for her. I think she's afraid to see her grandmother, essentially like on the last kind of bit of life that she has left. Because as we found out in season 1, Ade's mother wasn't really able to be her mother, and so the first person to really like acknowledge her in that family, especially like as the bastard child of like an apostate, was her grandmother, and so she does care about her biological mother, but her grandmother is really more of the mother figure to her, because she was the first one to really like recognize her and go, what this child needs is like not to be shunned by this family, but like to be loved. And like we've already essentially like lost a one family member in a way, so like let's not push away another one. So she has a lot of love for this woman, and seeing her like this, I think, is really frightening. But she will nod, and say, "Is it okay to go now?"
Yes, you can go now. I believe your grandfather may be with her at the moment. As to her state, I doubt she will be awake, but you may go see her, yes.
Ade will open her mouth to say something, and I think the words kind of get stuck. And she'll just close her mouth and nod, and she's going to go do that.
All right, and Sort of like as you're heading out, Manon lingers like in the office, and she just says, "Before I forget, your friend Buccio stopped by."
She'll kind of stop in her step and then nod and I can't remember, did Buccio tell Manon which tavern, or was he just like, I'll stop by later? I think he said he'll stop by later, right?
Yeah, he kind of just was like, "Well, tell her I was here," and then he went off.
Uncommittal as usual. So
But she knows the tavern that he stayed at before.
Yes,
We
she
went there.
does.
Okay. Manon, can you have like a runner go to? She'll name the tavern. I don't know if we actually named it in game.
I don't
Rusty
remember
Hook.
either.
The Nasty Hook.
I was gonna say the rusty hook, but the nasty
Oh.
hook one's even worse. So,
Are you nasty?
The beds
she'll
are as
ask-
nasty as our food.
Disgusting. Ew.
we got crabs from the bay. We got crabs in the sheets.
Oh God. Anyway,
Ask Manon to send a runner to the Rusty Hook, the not condemned tavern nearby, and just kind of say, just let the runner know to tell Buccio that I've returned to the estate, that if he could visit maybe tomorrow, as there are some personal matters to attend to this evening, that will be ready to receive him.
okay. I'll go do that. And
She's gonna give Manon just like a warm, like when parents, older people are trying to like smile for a kid and be like, everything is normal and fine, don't worry. That is what she's doing right now. She looks very calm, but calm in a way where like the smile definitely doesn't. It looks very practiced. And I think even Monon's like that. That's not a real Ade smile.
yeah, and sort of like as you say that, and also like relay the information to her about Buccio, she'll take like one look back over towards her father, and then she'll just follow you out of the office and close the door behind her. And without saying anything else, she'll just head off in the opposite direction, looking for a nearby servant.
Okay. And yeah, Ade will head to. She's guessing that like her grandmother's is going to be in her like chambers, essentially.
Yeah.
Like being made as comfortable as possible, for her passing. Yeah.
Yep.
So she'll head there. And if there's like a guard, she'll kind of like announce herself. Otherwise, she'll just kind of knock on the door and announce herself that way.
Yeah. There's I'd say there's someone stationed outside the door, but they sort of see you coming and they just like move aside as word has quickly spread that you have returned.
Okay. Yep. Then she'll just kind of knock 2 times and open the door. I have to ask a question because I like to hurt myself.
Okay.
I'm thinking that there's probably like some incense burning to kind of try and mask the scent of this kind of like death, when someone's getting close to the end of their life. That like cloyingly sweet incense smell. Would you say that that's accurate?
Yeah, I'd say it's not entirely inaccurate.
Okay. then I think she steps in and closes the door behind her, and is kind of looking into the room, but her back is still to the door. She's kind of frozen.
Yeah. And you look in, the room itself is like relatively low lit. One of the curtains is partly drawn, and there are a few candles lit throughout the room. And you can see that there's a chair pulled up to the bed, and sitting in the chair next to the bed, you see your grandfather, Alderic, sort of just sort of just like his hands like folded and leaning forward, and he sort of turns as you open and close the door, and he says, Adeli, you're back.
She opens her mouth, closes it, and then just kind of nods. Is her grandmother like currently asleep, or like just like, quietly resting?
Yeah, as you get closer, it looks like that she's sort of just like laying in the bed, rather still. Her eyes are closed. Is very like small, shallow breaths.
Mm-hmm.
So she doesn't really seem to be in any sort of like conscious state at the moment.
Okay. Then Ada is just kind of she's gonna walk over to her grandfather, and kind of kneel down next to the bed, and him, the hand over his, then try and give him a smile and say, you know, nothing would keep me away. I would move the heavens to be here whenever any of you needed me.
And sort of like looks you in the eye and smiles, and then turns back towards your grandmother, and he just says, I think she was holding on this long so you could be here. The healer said she should not have lasted as long as she has, and quite frankly, I cannot think of another reason why she would want to hold on in this state. So, and then he like looks back to you and he's like, I'm glad you're here.
What if I crashed out, bro? Sorry, I'm sad. Man, emotions. Gosh, I do think that those are like the exact words to just kind of shatter her heart a little bit. Not a little bit, a lot of it. Because, you know, somebody who gets to the point where they're looking that small and like hollow, and you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
A shadow of themselves, you can't help but imagine that yes, they've held on, but probably not without like discomfort or pain, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that Ade just kind of looks at him in shock, and then closes her eyes, eyebrows furrowed, and she's just like, I don't. And then she will look to her grandmother and kind of get up to sit on the edge of the bed so she can lean over and put a hand to her grandmother's face and just say, I'm so sorry I wasn't here. That I couldn't do anything, that you held on despite being in pain, but she wants to say it's okay, like you know that it's okay, like you don't have to hold on anymore, like it's gonna be fine. And I think Ade's just very used to saying like what should be said, and in this moment there's almost a distinct weakness that wins out. But she stops herself from saying what she truly wants to say and says, thank you for loving me and giving me a home and a family, and it's okay. We're going to be all right. I promise we will be okay. And I will help protect this family any way that it takes. I love you so much, Grandma. But I don't want you to suffer anymore. And she just, I think there's just like her eyes water. Her eyes are red, but I don't think she lets herself cry. Because I think there's a distinct feeling of like, if I do this, I will like absolutely lose it. And also, I think the other thing is like, she knows as a mage, she really needs to try and keep a hold on
her emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to say that Ade is just going to, because it's just her and her grandfather and her grandmother, just like as a little bit of flavor, I think she's going to like cast kind of like a healing spell. Not really to heal her, but more so to like try and soothe, like just for comfort.
Okay.
And she's gonna do this because they're the only ones here, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you just tap into your magic, and this almost like soothing aura seemingly like surrounds you, and you do your best to just ease your grandmother's discomfort and pain. And after you finish, your grandfather turns to you and says, thank you. I don't, now that I think of it, I don't think I've ever really seen you use magic. That was rather quite beautiful.
Oh boy. There's just a sharp intake of air. And I think she's just gonna kind of quickly swipe at her eyes a little bit. She's not crying, damn it, she's not crying. And say, well, I always felt like it was some horrible part of myself that I just needed to lock as tightly under wraps as I could, because it was the thing that kept me from belonging. in this family. But I don't quite feel that way anymore. I don't want there to be parts of myself that I'm ashamed about. And she's going to kind of just lean over, probably place like just a light kiss to her grandmother's forehead. I'm afraid you're gonna be like, and you feel her heart stop beating. Like she needs to leave this room before you get me with that or something.
Okay.
Like, please don't. But it would be poetic, wouldn't it? But she'll kind of finally turn to look at her grandfather again. Again, stern, strong man, but definitely not looking like how she remembers from her childhood, right? And she's just gonna kind of stand up, and she'll grab his hand in hers and place the kiss to the back of it and say, I've said my piece. And I'm sure she heard it and took it to heart. But I should allow you your time with Grandma. So I'll leave you for right now. We'll talk later, okay?
Thank you for being here.
She'll nod and give him a quick hug before walking out of the room.
And you walk out and close the door behind you, and you can, like, as you close the door, you can just hear like from beyond the door, just in the your grandfather's muffled sobbing.
Cool. Awesome, great, awesome, wow, amazing. We're feeling so good. This is awesome.
I was like, where the hell did that come from?
Ade doesn't say anything. You know, I know that we've very briefly touched on this before, but the innermost part of like the estate where like the main family is, there are certain people that kind of know what's going on with Ade. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure this guard's just like, wow, yeah, some really tense shit going on here right now. Ooh. And I sure did get stationed here on the day that she's coming back, and now I can hear the Duke, the old Duke crying, and Jesus Christ, I should take the sick day.
I should have not been here today.
Why did I switch with Jerry? This sucks. But Ade, if the guard briefly glances at her face, she's biting her bottom lip so fucking hard. I mean, just like it's almost surprising it's not bleeding yet. She's biting her lips so hard because she's trying so hard not to burst into tears, and she just kind of takes off in a walk that gets like faster and faster until she's almost like sprinting through the estate. She's gonna go to the room that Izan is in.
Okay.
And she's gonna knock on that door so hard it sounds like she's punching it.
And as you're
gallery.
I would say as you're just like hammering on this door, he like comes to the door a moment later and opens it and says, "That's rather aggressive for you, at least outwardly."
And she's gonna fucking burst into a sob.
And
just burst into a sob. That's
and
the first thing you said. Don't you feel bad?
and you see that he like immediately becomes uncomfortable and be like, "Whoa, this is a different aura than I was expecting." And he sort of just like ushers you in so you're not sobbing in the hallway for all the servants to see.
She is essentially like ushered in, but she is not moving, but she just kind of shuffles in. And then it's loud. I think this is real wild for her. This is loud sobbing. I do honestly think she's trying to explain. I think that's probably where she fucked up. She's trying to explain why she's upset, but she's already so upset that she's making herself panic because she can't get the words out. So she's kind of like choking the words. You know what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
That like real rough like hiccup cry where you just like stuttering on the same word. She's doing that. And if he says something smart, she's just gonna cry harder, so choose wisely. No.
And he sort of just like gestures. Well, he doesn't even gesture. He like he puts his hands on your shoulders and like walks you over the nearest chair and sits you down, so you can try and collect yourself a little bit. And he just does not say anything.
I was trying to think of how she would say it, but I think that all she manages to get out is like, just like, I have to be careful about how I say this because I'm trying not to cry. I'm a sympathetic crier with my characters. So I'm trying not to bawl my eyes out, but Ade is going to just kind of choke out, my grandmother is going to die, and there's nothing I can do about it, despite being what I am. I can't do anything, and I can't save anyone. Yep. And she's just gonna probably be like that for the evening.
All right, fair enough. In adjacent news, Buccio, someone shows up at the tavern saying that now's not a good time. Maybe come back tomorrow. She is here though.
Yeah, I had planned a couple different things for Buccio to be doing, but now I feel like completely evil. So maybe I think he's just sitting at the bar quietly, smoking a cigar, talking with a couple people, and yeah, just kind of leans over like, tomorrow then. All right, yeah, I can. I think I can swing that. And goes back to talking to one of the people. So you were talking something about a job that you needed done. Would that be tonight, or would that be?
Yeah, that could be tonight.
You know what? I think I can make it now.
Okay, sounds good.
You
and
notice
you shake on it.
for the sake of lore, you notice this is not the same barkeep or bartender that you was here last time.
Oh no.
Yeah.
There's generally a stabbing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah. Yeah, and then he's probably then trying to think. I still might be able to catch that show tonight. And he kind of leans back. He's like, "What time would you need me tonight?"
Just any time. Show up, early evening.
I do want to stop in and see an old friend tonight. I don't think it's going to take real long, though.
Okay. No rush.
Okay. Meet you back here?
Sure.
Okay. All right.
Sounds good.
All right. And you were Eel again, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The slippery one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And he will whatever drinks he has to pay for, he'll throw a couple coins on after he's made some new friends, especially his new friend Eel, and we'll slip out and
as an eel would do.
Oh wait, I can't resist. So yeah, so Buccio will leave.
Vivi's dead.
Oh, when I found out there were sound effects I could add, I was just like a kid in a candy store. Buccio will probably leave and probably head over to the theater.
Okay. And I'm assuming this is for a fuchsia frond fantasy. Okay. You actually noticed that
cheaper. So.
Yes, I was say you actually noticed that. Shockingly, it is not at the main theater. Who would have guessed?
What an outrage! It's an outrage.
It's actually in a discreet locale, and is going to be
off Broadway.
Yes, and is going to be put on at a midnight showing.
That doesn't sound sketchy at all. Just like Aiden. So
appropriate.
Yeah, so I guess he'll then, since he can't catch a matinee, I suppose he'll unless you think it's time for me to head over there, it's up to the storyteller.
Up to you.
You realize that the show is actually later than you thought. Oh, midnight.
Oh yeah. Now he's going to disappoint his new friend Eel. So well, you win some, you lose some. He'll wait till it's time to go find this sketchy theater that they chart, that they actually pay you to come in. It's
they're
that far off.
Yeah, they're like, look, we're desperate to get people in here.
Aiden said something about free tickets. Yeah.
He did he? No one knows about this. Yeah,
and he still has some coupons for like half off popcorn. So, he'll go in and what's he see when he gets inside?
You get in and for being a off Broadway show, there's a decent turnout. There's you can clearly tell that this has been by and large like very much like a word of mouth situation. Like, I know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy who's working this show, so you should come and watch it. And
you hear it through the back channels. Yeah.
Yes.
I had heard this is a good place for the homeless to sleep. So.
And
he makes a joke, and and one of the ushers just doesn't find it funny, and he's just like,
"Oh, you can sleep here. It just costs more. That's all."
And he's like, "I'm just kidding. I'm a
No. We encourage that kind of behavior here. Not much sleeping gets done usually, but there are seats. I'm just
Oh,
saying.
it's one of
There's
one
some
of those
audience
shows.
participation. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, he will definitely have his dagger and his short sword ready.
Dang.
Okay. And yeah,
Those are not euphemisms. So.
Yep. So Aiden, are you at this show?
I mean, he can be. Yeah. There's certainly no reason why he wouldn't show up to the productions from time to time, given that he has credit that he often takes when they announce. They come right out and announce normally towards the end. The actors and actresses take a bow, and he's credited as producer and director and co-writer, and
Yeah, exactly.
That's right. So yes, you will see him at that moment, if not before. And he's unlike you. His appearance hasn't changed much, so I don't know if he would recognize Bukio.
Probably thinks it's a dwarf. Honestly,
Right,
sitting,
exactly.
Yeah, so.
And so I don't know that he would immediately clock Bukio. And he, but you can definitely. I mean, if anything, he's just made himself more visible. His clothes have gotten even more flamboyant. Yeah, and yeah, so he's very recognizable. You can totally see him. Yes.
Okay. He will use his coupon for half off popcorn and sit there and just eat popcorn while he watches this production.
I just want to say that the popcorn is also a little bit questionable. Like,
Yes, I was gonna say. Yes, I was gonna
probably
say,
like a bite or two.
Yeah, I was gonna say the first thing you notice, the popcorn, not good.
But it costs as much as a ticket to buy the popcorn. So yeah, it's standard movie price, theater prices, and so yeah. And you need some of that ale or whatever to wash it down. We've got that too. Yeah.
Okay.
That's about the same quality. Yeah. So, and what you behold, if I may take the liberty to say, is something that will definitely stick with you for the rest of your life. In terms of the visuals,
like a social disease. So.
Yeah. This is not something that will wash off right away, and it is it redefines theatrical fornication on many levels, and there are. And just about the time when you think you've hit the point where it might be like, okay, that was more than I thought it would happen. The next scene brings on an even deeper level of just, I mean, it's all NC-17, triple X rated, it's so yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's a 90-minute production. It goes for some time, and the thespians have to have some stamina for what they're doing. So there are, it is a menagerie and a carnival of delights. To put it mildly, and
as long as I'm not in the splash zone, I'm
okay. Right, and you barely are not. I mean, the people in the front row, they're getting it all. So, and they pay extra for that. Like, that is something they pay. That's the service they pay for. They also each get a special trinket underneath their seats and everything to, participate. so yeah, there's reasons why people have bought season tickets to this production. They can keep coming and coming and coming back. And that's what's happening here. So yeah, Bukio, you have had a great first night watching this production, I think. Yeah, and your popcorn is probably empty by the end of it.
No, he took like one bite.
Yeah, it's
and just,
still
like,
empty.
chucked it.
Like somebody ate it, you know. If somebody was
Oh.
there, yeah, exactly.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Buccio, you watch the show, and you've read Aosia's, erotica, and you're like, I don't know how they'd ever be able to adapt that. Yet somehow, Aiden managed to convince people to do that.
Yes. Well, you know what? Actors are always looking for work, so it didn't take much convincing. Yeah.
I had no idea they'd be able to they'd work in the ducks. There it is. They got the ducks into it too.
Yeah. Those duck costumes, they're on point. Yeah.
Yeah, he might stand up at the end and give a standing ovation. There probably nobody else is, but he's just like.
Yeah. And Aiden is he's out there taking a bow too, even though he actually didn't participate in that production. And he's it doesn't matter what kind of reception he's getting in his head. It's a standing ovation, you know.
Yes, I would say, Aiden, from your perception, you're the
everybody is. Yeah.
Yes, I would say, Aiden, from your perception, in this moment, you feel like the Maker's greatest gift to Thetis.
Oh yeah. Champagne corks
and
are going off, and things are coming out of bottles. Liquid is coming out of bottles everywhere, and it is just it's amazing.
And Buccio, from your perception, you and maybe like 3 other people are clapping when Aiden's up on stage.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And then he will. I don't know. He thinks he might not engage with Aiden just yet. He might keep the deception going just a little bit longer. So I think he will leave without saying anything.
He came there to see it. He just like, you know what? I'm not ready for this.
I'm not ready for you yet. I'm just not ready yet. He hasn't had enough drinks.
I mean, that's a whole level of something I'm not prepared to deal with.
Yeah. I mean, he was okay with the squirting and the showers and and everything on stage, but he's just like, but I just engaging with Aiden, just not ready yet. So.
Yeah, and this is all new to him because there were no letters exchanged between Aiden and Buccio. So
no. So no, yeah, he will probably leave, and I don't know, try to make a friend for the night, and unless it looks like he could obviously sleep here, then he might stay.
He can, yeah.
I would say you noticed that, like,
friends.
I would say you noticed that, like,
that's true.
You noticed that, like, because also this was an 1.5 hour long sex show, apparently. Basically, as soon as everyone's done on stage, like, 1/4 of the people there just fucking find a place to lay down.
The cast is completely dehydrated, what kind of other degenerates are here that the other people who stood up?
I was like, what kind of degenerates are you looking for?
He's not much for that kind of scene, so he's thinking, I could probably sleep here, but I don't know I don't know if I trust these people. And he's hung out with pirates and killers.
Sleeping with or on top of or beside other people, I think you'll be okay. Just have your dagger ready.
I don't want to hold up the story too much longer. So you can move on.
All right. So you stand there for a while, just debating on whether to stay here or not, and we transition back over to Aosia, who is presumably still just ranting to Cyril about what to do about this whole situation. When Aosia, in the middle of your ranting slash oh woe is me, you
an academic discussion about romantical situations. This is high level, top tier Shit going on.
Yes. To which Cyril does his best to respond in a manner that he is capable of responding, even though he does not understand what you're feeling at all. And
Dynamite, my boy.
and so in the middle of this whole like talk, you see a piece of paper get slipped under your door, and then you there's like a moment. Yeah, there's a sort of just like a linger. You feel this like lingering moment on the other side of the door before you start hearing like footsteps slowly walking
He's
away.
gonna run over the door and open it.
And you swing the door open, and maybe like 2 feet away from your door in the hall, you see Frederick. And but as you like violently swing the door open, he like whips around, startled. Hi.
She's like slightly panting because she like just full sprinted from the bed. And she's not an athlete, okay? And so slight huffing, she goes, "You come here often?"
When I can.
"Yes, I know. I live here."
I'm glad I was able to catch you. I was not expecting you to be here. I thought you'd be off.
Oh, going where? Between the 3rd floor and the 4th floor and the 5th
Well,
floor and the main floor?
I meant more like causing problems for people, but
That's not all I do.
I know that, but you know, I know you like to do that.
I mean, yeah. But like, you know, it's not like a problem. It's more like I'm setting the scales of the world slightly back into balance. And then she's just going to kind of do a little bend and snap to pick up the piece of paper that he had slid under the door. And she's like, "Oh, looky, and no, I wonder what this is." Knowing damn well he put it there.
Uh-huh. And he's like...
And she's like, "Thank God I wore a short nightgown today."
And it's like, "Are you busy?"
I mean, let me check. Cyril, am I busy?
To my knowledge, no, you're not. All you've been doing is talking to me, and I've been trying to assist in your love life.
Cyril, shh. He's not supposed to know we talk about it.
I was saying Frederick sort of just like leans past the door frame, and Cyril says like, "Hello, Knight Captain."
You can't come in here. This is the sacred chamber of girl talk.
But
that's my baby girl.
And I was saying Frederick just doesn't even go there.
That's my homie, okay? So you're allowed here when it's not girl talk space.
All right.
Yeah. But no, I'm not busy. Like, are you busy? Because you've been nothing but busy for the past 3 days.
I'm just and it says no, I'm not busy right now.
Okay. So like, do you want to do something?
Yes.
You come to my doorstep and ask if I'm not busy and you don't have a plan proposed?
Well, I wasn't expecting you to be here.
It's my room!
I know, but like I said, I thought you weren't gonna be here.
Okay, but like imagine I had... What does this fucking note say? I'm gonna open it real quick.
You open it up, and you see it's basically just an apology for him having been so busy and not being able to see you.
She's gonna just like. Anyway, and she's just gonna tuck it into like her boob. You know what? My bad. I kind of came off a little hard there, not in a good way. But that's sweet. No, I'm not busy. What do you want to do?
And you see him get this like almost mischievous look on his face, and he's like, do you want to sneak out?
Frederick, you are becoming very bad. I like it. Yeah, I would like to. Cyril, you need to go to your room now. This is no longer girl talk space.
Very well. And he just like stands up and then sort of like turns around to the chair that he was sitting in and says, I will leave this note that I was told to give to you, but I had been unable to do that. I will see you at a future date, I am sure.
Yeah, I'll probably visit for tea tomorrow or something.
I will see you then.
Mm-hmm.
And he sort of gives a polite bow to both of you and then takes his leave of the room.
Wait one moment here, Pookie. And then she's gonna go over to the chair and also look at the note.
All right. And you just you open up the note, and it's a very simple message. It just says, "Elven alienage tomorrow." M.
She's just gonna kind of stare at it for a second, and then tear the note into pieces.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
is
where were you
okay?
thinking? Sorry, paper. God, no one uses flavored ink these days. Where do you want to go?
You know what? I'm not even going to start it like that. I think that I found a rooftop with a very nice view outside the city walls, if you wanted to go there.
I would like to go there. Give me 2 minutes and I'll get changed.
I should... And he like looks down at himself still in his Templar regalia, and he says, I should likely do the same.
And she's just gonna kind of tug and she's like, I can help you strip. I'm joking. It'll be suspicious if they hear me in here. Why don't you go get changed and I'll meet you soon, okay? And wear something nice underneath or nothing at all, you know? Anything.
And he just smiles at like his cheeks flushing a little bit, and he just walks away with a pep in his step.
Fucking margarine. Okay, it's fine. Wine and dine. You know, nice romantic evening. You get to see outside the walls. Free bird. Stressful shit tomorrow. Oh my god. I need to wear my sexiest thong. And then she's gonna like go through like her stuff and like just find a date appropriate, outfit for Aosia, which is probably like a very nice, flowy, if not slightly gauzy, colorful dress. And nice low cut, shoulders out, doing her thing, just very flowy. She looks like the wind colored like purple, red, and like orange flowing through the streets. And then she's gonna put like a very common cloak over herself, and then hitch up her skirts so that like the material doesn't peek underneath everything she's wearing. And then she's gonna go find wet blanket and have a wonderful night.
Sounds stellar. And and you like get downstairs. You since you have permission to leave the tower as you will, you leave the tower. You leave the tower, and you see him about like a block down. He is also wearing like a cloak over and a rather simple cloak, like much like you're wearing. And when he sees you approach, he just like holds out his hand and he leads the way. And
she's grinning ear to ear as this is happening, just kind of like also like with her chin up. She's like,
and he sort of like leads you through the streets for a while before eventually you reach the side of one of the buildings with a few sort of like adjoining rooftops, almost sort of like scaling up. And he says, "Are you up for a little climbing?"
I would have worn my climbing shoes if I'd known.
And
Not that I own them.
and he says, "I can help you."
Oh, please do.
and he sort of just like starts climbing up, and then he'll climb up, and then he sort of like helps lift you up until eventually you're at the rooftop. And he sort of like sits down, and you just see sort of like the sort of the very top of the walls sort of like lit up, and then beyond that you just see the starry night sky, and then the fields of green, and the forest off in the distance.
I used to live in one of those, Nice little cabin. Mama, Papa, brother.
Sounds nice.
It was. And this is very nice. I cannot see the stars from my cell very well, so.
And you see him from under his cloak. He pulls out a rose and hands it over to you.
I need to know where you've been learning all of this. You seem to be very good at romancing. It's very sweet.
Oh, I'm glad you appreciate it.
Why would I not? A way to a mage's heart.
Yeah.
Get it? It was a chantry joke and a romantic joke. So I got you.
Yeah, not something I ever really expected.
Me too. I mean, I thought I'd strangle you one day. Or at the very least, like, make you overdose on like rat poison or something. One day, not that I was planning it, before. It used to be you were just kind of like a sexy nuisance, and I didn't even think you were sexy back then. Not that you aren't sexy, but like, the whole charming aspect really added on to like your charm, and so like once you weren't just like a faceless figure in a crowd.
And as you're rambling, he just leans in and kisses you.
Okay. What, Riz? Where do they feed in this man? What is in the Chantry lectures? What chapter is this? And she just like goes like bright, like a deep red, and just like is stunned into silence, and then kisses him back, and then they have dinner and all that. She like holds his hand across the table, does the whole little against the back of his hand, and the paper sits very horribly in her stomach.
And with that, I think we'll end tonight's episode.
Ooh, wait! Perfectly timed.
What a roller coaster of a premiere, let me tell you what.
This is what they come back for. Like this is what.
So did we hit any of the beats
No.
that are you?
I was at least
more. Yeah.
I was at least expecting everyone to at least meet up this episode. So even
Oh
that
no,
didn't
can't make it easy on
happen.
you.
The bar
Is in the basement.
Oh yeah. And we're in a whole new category now. We'll see what YouTube does with this video.
This is hilarious.
I know. I wasn't.
There was so much setup.
And that's good. It'll mean we're good for the next episodes.
That is
It
true.
means
That's true. That's true. That's
groundwork. Guys.
Next episode, and we're like, magically, it's now the next day. All right, everyone meets up. Yeah.
gonna
Everyone's
force us,
just
like-
together now.
It's 12 days later. You got through all your bullshit, and now you see each other.
Right. You all went in for some counseling. Of
Yeah, you all worked
type.
through your problems, and then just we're moving past it.
I'm too pretty to have problems. No, yeah, that's not a good. That's not a good
That's not
mentality.
mentality.
That's not a good mentality. She's on that copium. Is it? I'm so glad this is back, guys.
I
Yes.
am also very
Me too.
happy it's
Very
back.
excited.
Ever since Sparrow died, I've not had a character who has this much raunchiness, and so now she's carrying over.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting the premiere to be such an explicitly horny episode.
When
I
I
was
tell
getting
you,
here just flabbergasted. I was like, "Wow!"
when I tell you, this always fucking happens. All right, I come in here with like the slightest game plan. I'm like, oh, like Aosia hasn't done too much. Like, yeah, her relationship's probably advanced a little bit. And the moment I start talking, I was like, yo, she has done things to, with, for this man. Like, it's just
Yeah,
like she can't leave the city. She has no friends aside from Aiden, who she can barely see. She's only got her boyfriend in her tower. Hates everyone else except Zero she lives with and the people in her party.
yeah.
What
I was gonna
else
say-
is there to do?
Yeah, I just love the dichotomy of Ade being like, I have to come back to my city because my grandma's dying, and then Aosa being like, I am getting railed by my boyfriend
Exactly.
every day.
The rest of it just that
Every
beautiful
day
scene, and we're just like
on the
monsters.
Exactly.
dot.
I know. It's like us in the chat the entire. I like do an emoji dick. Like we're out here
Yeah.
making like fucking horrible jokes. I'm
Yeah.
sitting here. I'm like, she's pouring her heart out about how her grandma's dying, revealing magic to her. I'm over
Yeah.
here like penis.
Yeah, I kept like looking at the chat, and I'm like, I need to stop. I need to
Exactly,
not look
like
at this
you're-
right now.
There were
We're
moments
really
where I
bad
saw
at
it. I was like, we're
serious, and I
bad.
kept seeing things just like, ooh, this is gonna happen. Oh, and I'm just like, her grandmother is dying.
You
But I was
monster.
also laughing.
Yeah.
I kept
The
having
three
to
fucking
mute
stooges
myself
over
so I wouldn't crack up.
Yeah. I was like, I was also getting like choked up because I was like, all right, I have to play back to back 2 emotionally exhausted and broken men because their wife and mother respectively are dying.
Exactly.
Oh, I thought you meant Frederick, and I was like, yeah, I guess he is exhausted, and like, you know, she is giving him the runner.
Oh my god. Oh my good lord.
What can I say? She's an
Using that
EG.
button is like
I'm sure Frederick's exhausted in a different way.
Exactly.
Exactly.
He is just a man dealing with an evil and eccentric girlfriend, right? So
the best girlfriend. Yeah.
the best girlfriend, right? The best. And it's
he
like
went, went straight from nothing to
like, you know, we left off like kind of PG, like they could barely speak to each other in the hallway last season. Look, y'all left. She had no guidance, no supervision. All right, she has no support aside from Zero outside. Head
off
first.
the chain.
I would say,
Head
technically, technically, Aiden's also around, but he's not.
He's been encouraging it.
He's not really a role model.
I was gonna say, but he's not. Yeah, I was gonna say he's not exactly what we would call a good influence.
Aiden gave me an aphrodisiac perfume to
That's
like
right. Called abduction.
seduce him with.
Abduction. Forgot about that.
Absolutely crazy.
Has
Like,
a questionable success rate.
He told me where to get double XL lingerie for my man, right? Like, you know, that's my source. That's my plug, right? Every bad decision I make in this romance or very forward decision, Aiden feels it. And that's why he's there.
Yeah,
he's hype man.
Absolutely.
And then we go to Cyril for some more grounding that we don't want to hear. But like, you know, you
that
need
pigeon
the balance.
Is worn out too. Because he's getting all the material from Aosia, like for the sequel to Fuchsia Fron Fantasy. So yeah, he's like, keep it coming.
That's what she said. No, man, I gotta admit to you, the pigeon died at one point, and she got a new one.
Had to replace the pigeon.
She had to replace it. Like she took Frederick on a date where basically she was like, "We need to go out into the city," and he was like, "Oh my god, like she's initiating one. What's great? They visit so many like pigeoneries, owleries, whatever the fuck, like." And they spend the entire day looking for the perfect duplicate, so Aiden won't notice. Because she feels bad that they killed this bird.
Oh my god.
Well, let's go ahead and wrap up, folks.
That's what she said. No.
Yeah. I hope so.
Yeah. I'm gonna say, if not, Aosia might be in trouble.
Right.
All right, folks. Thanks for watching. We appreciate your support. Give this video a like and comment on what you liked about it, or if you didn't like anything about it, comment anyway. We'd like to know. So,
cast your vote for the title of the next show, Tumbling Tots in the Tower.
I was gonna be like, cast your votes for the gender reveal and what the name is gonna be. Frederick is carrying that baby, by the way.
I think on that, we don't want to give spoilers for the rest of that.
He's already pregnant. No, I'm just
All right, everybody. Good night. We'll see you next week.
Bye.